Wow. I almost dropped the mic, but I like placing it on my leg because, it's got kind of like this little tripod thing going on here.
Yes.
So it can just relax calmly on there.
I'll move it down just a little bit.
Hey, folks, it's December the 22nd.
Oh.
2025, obviously.
And we're here to recap several days of our work.
Yet again. Okay, so let's get back into the writing.
We are recapping right now, October 14th.
Yes, okay, October 14th. And yes, these videos are... We finished this writing a long time ago, but we had just been so fucking tired. Okay, so this one was a cool one. We were exploring a character, again, who has made several appearances throughout the show.
Yes.
Very early on, too. And so I like this character, and it's...
I'm trying to remember what this
is. The scene in general was just a very character-driven.
Very dialogue-heavy.
Yes, dialogue-heavy. Conflicting viewpoints. But it's one of those situations where it was one of those stories where you write the two characters, one who's clearly frazzled and not thinking straight, and the other one who's thinking clearly. Now, many a times when folks write those scenarios, they turn out crappy because one character looks less than the other, and then you just know it's meant to take the plot in a specific direction, rather than it feels right for both characters. And so to make it right for both characters, Brandon and I write it in a way where both of them, you get where they're coming from, and you still care about both of them, even though you know who's correct in the scenario. And it rounds up in a way where you feel really great.
Yes,
both said characters, even the one with the cloudy, misguided perspective.
Yeah, and I'm trying to recap how I felt about this sequence. Well, it said full workday, right?
It was a full workday.
Yeah, this
just writing this one segment.
Yep,
there was a lot. There was a lot to cover.
We tweaked one part at the very end, very minorly. It was actually really quick.
We can say what it was.
Yeah, it was originally imagined character spoke a line out loud, but then we changed it to a voiceover. That was it.
That's all.
But we kept the line. We kept the line exactly the same, just made a voiceover, so that was easy.
It suited it better.
Honestly, if I can recap how I felt, this was one of those ones where it was tough because you had to cover a lot of things between these two characters and the subjects they spoke of. And all I can say for myself, I had a good time, and it was tough, but I remember mostly having a good time.
I remember that
personally.
Too.
Yes, it was actually a pretty, even though it was a full work day, it was one of those really fun full work days.
Yeah, bro's right. I do remember feeling exactly the same way. I do remember feeling good on that work day. All right, let's progress to October the 15th.
Next one. Here's the 15th. Let's see here.
Wow, okay. So this was a cool narrative style Brand I decided to pursue. I'm not a big fan of inner monologue narrations.
Yeah.
Unless it's done this way. The way we did it was more to develop lore and character and a perspective to give to the audience that perhaps wasn't really truly explored enough in our previous episodes, but now this one gets to give it more body and more weight to the events to come. So that's why it was very nice writing this, and it was a totally new character where basically you're seeing from this character's perspective and the inner thoughts of this character through various years.
Yes. And from my experience with that one, gosh, I remember that there are several scene changes for this one.
Yeah.
That was kind of difficult. I kind of have this vague memory that it was hard to start this segment. Like, it was just kind of hard to get into it. Just the early scenes choosing, because it's always hard for us to decide how the scenery looks, especially when Garrett and I like.
I think you're right, but wasn't the first scene at?
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. some of the earlier scenes. I mean, like something
that I remember.
Yeah. Not the very first scene in this segment, but the couple next scenes to follow is kind of hard to decide on where we want the character to be.
Yeah.
And yes, but aside from the scene changes, it was really cool, very engaging, and really, this was such a cool one to write, because I personally love narration when it's done right. Otherwise, I would agree with Gary. Most of the time, narration is just a very cheap way to move things along and just to give the audience some sort of leg up over the characters, which I really detest.
Yeah, or it wants to make you sympathize more with the character rather than showing other actions from the character. Sometimes they want the narration so that way the writer can skip over the difficult task of developing character without knowing the character, to get the people to know the character, just hear what's inside the character's head.
Exactly.
So sometimes that's cheap. But in this scenario, it's portrayed perfectly because it's a brand new character and a very side character. And yet through a side character's perspective, you get a feeling for this character, which I was kind of worried about. Mm-hmm. I thought at first, I remember feeling I was worried we made the character a little too generic. But the character ended up having a lot of personality.
Yes.
So which ended up working great. But In our scenario, we're doing the narration to develop a completely unknown character, a relatively side character, and a new character, and therefore not trying to fast forward development and growing to a character who's supposed to be a main character. We're going to take our time with the main characters, explore them, have fun with them.
Yes.
With this, but this storytelling tactic of narration and understanding a character's perspective is often given to the main characters. We're giving it to a side character. That changes the craft. That makes it more interesting. It makes the world more rich, as well as I previously mentioned, it also adds another layer that we didn't fully explore
in our previous episodes.
So that was it. That was the entire workday.
And it was solid. It
was solid. It was.
It was not a full work day. I remember that, but it was a solid work day. Loved it.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. It wasn't.
Well, it was not a full work day because it says right there it wasn't. See?
You're right.
All right, that was October 15th. Now
the 16th. Okay, I have a memory of this one.
All right, go ahead.
My memory of this one is, we did narration again. This is kind of cool. These segments were back to back. They were meant to mirror each other. Two different perspectives about the same place over the same course of time.
And both told through narration.
Yes, both with non-lead characters, brand new, side, little characters. So, and I do like that storytelling.
Yes.
You had to be careful, though.
Yes.
Because there is a potential but a potential for pretension.
Oh, yeah.
When saying, look at me, I'm giving the little people a voice. You know, the top down doesn't just affect the top. They affect everyone. You gotta show the consequences of the effect of that. And nature, I hope a mirror. I can't get enough of mocking people who get off on a high by exploring these scenarios that people leave unexplored for pretentious reasons, that they think they're any less pretentious for exploring them and then pumping their egos for doing that. You can be pretentious for exploring something and pretentious for ignoring something.
Yep.
So, in this situation, we just like exploring it this way because we think it's more fun and it makes the story richer. And we just like it. That's the best reason to do anything, because you just like it. Not to say, look how brilliant I am, but if it ends up coming off brilliant and you love it, that's what you gotta strive for. Now,
yes, you see a memory of this.
Yeah. My memory for this one was I liked this character so much, and the way the narration was crafted in such a way I thought that I couldn't tell what time period you're hearing the narration in.
Yes.
Because. And I think it was better done than the previous one. But the previous narration to me wasn't delivered that way. The previous narration was delivered kind of linear in a sense. This one's narration, I remember we wrote it, it felt more out of sequence and yet still told a story.
That's right.
And,
yes.
And I thought that was very cool just from a crafting standpoint. Because as Brandon knows, and for those of you who have been watching the videos, I like crafting a lot.
Yes.
So when I can ever get my hands on a new craft that I can mold and just explore and just experience it.
And play around with.
Yeah, and play around with it. It's really, really fun for me. And this one to me was fun. I think I had a better time writing this segment only because it seemed like everything was more original when they equally were. I have an issue with originality, honestly. It's not because originality is not a story. It's just, okay, so you invented a pink piece of paper, so what? It's still a piece of paper. You can still write on it. You can still fold it and make origami. It's just pink. So originality is overrated.
Yes.
But I still very much enjoy it. And so that's what I felt when I remember writing this segment. And I was very proud of how it turned out. And then very happy thinking on them both back to back. How well they complement each other.
I remember for me, let's see, I want to say something. I just want to say, I just want to touch on the subject of everything we talked about. The idea of giving cool, big perspectives from characters who are like new or small or just introduced, stuff like that. The reason why, I want to talk real quickly. This is we like this for this particular storytelling, for this particular show, because we got to, I've been saying several times, this show is really big. Big world, lots of characters, right? If you have this opportunity, you should have some side characters have a voice of their own. Because Garrett and I both agree, it's just kind of campy. Even if you got like a cast of 50 characters, it is a little campy to have only those 50 characters have a voice, as opposed to like a character who you just see in one scene. or something like that. It gives a more rich, real sense of this is a big world. Everyone has their own story. So that's why Garrett and I particularly really like these really back-to-back narration segments with these characters who are like just new. I just want to bring that up. That's what we both really like about that.
I want to hop on that because I agree, and I like it when it's done in several other works of fiction.
Yes,
when they do explore it correctly without the pretension of saying, "Look at me, I'm exploring this." I like it just saying, "I want to explore it because I want to."
Because we like it,
and it brings more meaning to the work. And I would say that it still remains campy when these smaller characters you focus on are still within the spectrum of the 50 characters.
Yes.
And that these 50 characters may go to a village. Any one of these 50 main characters goes into a village. Let's say she's a warrior, she's the main character you're following, or just a side character, and then she runs to a village. You only see this one little cameo character once, and the camera veers off, and then eventually you listen to this cameo character. Well, when I still feel that's a little campy because the character's connection for the audience is that the character interacted with the main character. When Brandon and I are doing it in this show, and others have done it very well as well.
Yeah.
I can't name them, but I know I've seen it and been inspired by it, and that's why we kind of accompany it in ours and do it our way. You think I want
to maybe BioShock? The audio diaries, because some of them are totally random people.
BioShock, yeah, BioShock for sure.
BioShock, and we're citing BioShock, the first one. Now, actually, BioShock 2 and Infinite did it well. Oh, those are video games.
But BioShock's the first one we kind of encountered, I'd say.
Yeah. No, it was the first.
BioShock for sure.
BioShock.
For sure. You hear the voices of characters with so much personality in just, like, less than a minute. Yeah. And they have nothing to do with the main character other than the fact the main character discovers a piece of their personality they left behind.
Yes.
Anyone who's played BioShock,
you know what we're talking about.
You know what we're talking about.
The audio diaries. Yeah. You know what you mean.
But exactly, BioShock is a great one. BioShock, in our opinion, I don't think it's opinion. I think it's just the truth. BioShock is the greatest world-building work out there I have ever witnessed. Ever. Nothing defeats BioShock in terms of world-building.
No.
And it does it in a way where it didn't have to go through insane crafting or ridiculous detail to build its world. It just had the right amount of ambiguity where you can kind of fill in the blanks and also be left in mystery. And that is what a world is, right? You comprehend enough, but there's always going to be something you don't understand. So that's when your world is complete. Not when it has a million details you do understand, but a million details you understand and a million details you do not understand in equal measure. Yeah. So BioShock for sure. And so that's how we want to do the character. It's a side character who has no interaction with the main characters whatsoever, just pops up in the universe, but it's in a context that is translatable to the audience.
Yes.
So that's what we did with the back-to-back narrations of segment on the 14th, and then now this one on the 15th.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to October the 16th.
Yep.
And this one will wrap the video.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just missed the narrations ones for 15th and the 16th.
My bad.
Now we're going to talk on October 17's one. Okay.
Okay, what we wrote on that day was...
All right.
Okay.
I just want to say for me, this one...
this one was a treat.
Yes, it was a treat. It was a character we've seen before.
This segment.
And, this segment, October 17th segment. And this character we had before. And we barely explored the character before. But this one, we do it. And it was really visual based. It was...
Yes.
It was... For me, it was very fun. I loved exploring this character. I just remember, this one was...
It was tiring, I think.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. I would agree. This one was tiring. I don't know why. I can't exactly remember why.
I think it's because of the visuals.
Yes. But I remember this one for me was a tiring but very fun experience personally. So I can't really say much more on that, except I had a joy writing this character. It was tiring, but because of the visuals, but it was very fun for me. That's what I got to say. I'm pretty good with that, honestly.
I had nothing to say really add on to that, except I agree. It was fun. It was exhausting, but I love this character. Like, I loved the concept of the character, but the character really didn't get a whole lot in our previous episodes. So finally getting to explore this character, whom I was excited to explore, was the fun. And it's just great coming up with character quirks and ideas and stuff like that happen in the course. Like, ideas you don't have for the character traits, they literally bloomed during the course of the writing.
Yes.
Some habits, some...
like idiosyncrasies.
That's it.
Nuances.
Yeah,
like that.
For the character as we were writing it. These weren't planned, but as we were writing, we were adding them, and that's fun.
Yes,
that's fun, especially when it's about a character you're excited to write. So yeah, that was a fun time, a difficult time because, as Brandon had said, there was a lot of visuals in this, and when we say visuals, we mean like no dialogue.
Yeah, like you follow the character going to a coffee shop, then you like may cut to the character playing ping pong with another person. Then you may cut to nursing. The character's going for a drive and gets out the car and looks at the horizon of like maybe at the Grand Canyon. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and what's tasking about that is when you're writing a visual sequence for a character development and montage-ish, you gotta avoid what we like to avoid. The typical beats, what Brandon just described. If you're watching, say, a character who works a difficult job and stops for a coffee and then goes for a drive, is miserable on the drive, and then, plays ping pong because it's a hobby or something like that. You got to know what order to put that in without it feeling like you've seen it millions of times.
Yeah.
We've seen the depressed montage. We've seen the happy montage. We've seen the montage of a character's life, a day in the character's life. This was kind of like that. A day in the character we were writing, it was like a day in the character's life.
Yes.
But you have to structure in a way where it's fun to see something you didn't know about this character. You learn about the character, and it's an unorthodox order because life is kind of unorthodox.
That's how we like to do it. I can tell you right now, that's how we like it.
Yeah. So keep it completely tailored to the character.
Always.
And if it happens to go down a cliche route, we'll make the cliche feel good. Right?
Yes.
You don't have to be totally original to make it
work.
To make it work.
Absolutely.
So basically, that's our writing style. If we're going down the cliche, we're going to make it impactful. If we're going down something more clever and more original with a tweak here and there, we're going to make it just as impactful, but keep it new and fresh.
Yeah.
So, say writing that coffee segment, the car driving segment, we have to make sure that each segment matches the character, feels kind of fresh, and still engaging. And then the follow-up segment, we have to make sure it doesn't really repeat what came before, unless repetition is
part of the craft of the whole.
So you're paying attention to the previous segment, the previous scene within the segment, as each scene keeps evolving.
Yes.
And then you got to kind of look back and feel like it wrapped up nicely as a whole. At least that's how Brandon and I like to conduct ourselves in writing it. And that's what's exhausting.
Yes.
Because when you write a coffee shop, then you got to describe the coffee shop.
Yeah, or that's just lazy. Like, in a coffee shop, like,
Then the car drive, you got to describe what the car is driving through.
The scenery around the car.
And the character, how the character feels.
Yeah, all those things. And it's very tough. We have to do a lot of those back to back to back to back.
Yeah, especially when words in a dialogue exchange can usually express a character's feelings very easily.
Yes.
Compared to just...
Or even like a character's reaction, Bob squints at the French fries because of disgust. They can write that in the script, but as opposed to visuals, writing all of that with the French fries plus the car, plus maybe gripping the wheel, plus maybe the shirt Bob's wearing. That's a...
Yeah, so there you go. There's a little preview on how Brandon and I go about writing visual sequences.
Yes.
We're very conscientious, and we have a very clear direction of what we want, and there's a lot that what we want out of our visual segments. So it's tiresome when all you really want from a dialogue exchange is just make sure the words match the character and
the bit of actions in between. That's about it. I will say for me, and also I can say from my side, I don't know about you, but when it comes to those visual scenes, I love them. They're tough, and I'm also very particular about them because I agree for all the reasons Garrett just listed. That's why I'm particular about those.
Yeah, we're very particular about them because
we just listed them all.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, that's it for now. We might film another video today on the 22nd of December. Stay tuned, folks. But see you in the next one.
Next video. Bye-bye.
Before the bye-bye. I added today. That's right. I went to the channel, and we're running out of videos. So we're no longer, by the time this video comes out, the system will have changed. But But now there's only going to be one video vlog a week because we're running out. We're running out, and we're grouping them. So we have a lot less videos than normal, but that's okay. So now it's going to be every Thursday. So see you next Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.